Hi, welcome to Dow's Homestead. This is that shade uh, planter that I put out here to grow shade plants, and everything is looking good. Stuff is coming up that should be coming up, and then there's stuff that will come up later in the spring. My ferns are coming up here. You can see along the front and on this side over here. And a little tiny one right there. So they're doing real good. Those are the lady ferns. And in here, we have a little bit of everything. Everything you see that's green is a plant. It's not, it's not weeds or anything coming up because the weeds haven't gotten to this. So this is all sterile soil with fertilizer. So I'm going to have some mushrooms. Now those came up because I did put some mushroom compost in here. So I see a few mushrooms here and there. There's another little mushroom right down here somewhere. Yeah. This grouping looks like they've had better days. There's a little one right there. Don't know what kind of mushrooms they are. They look like they're possibly edible. But I keep shade cloth on it for now. We have trees planted that will shade this area, so I pre-planted it with that in mind. This is a bucket that I started some cosmos in, and they're just starting to bloom. You can see all the little balls there, the little blooms. And once I have them going good, I'll transplant them out because they're a perennial. This arbor is full of noodle beans these are the red noodle beans that I'm letting go to seed. Hi, Annie. Hi, Annie. Hi. And they're doing real good. There's lots of them, and each pod has about, 15, 20 seeds. Got some tomatoes down here that I'll be picking, and over there, nice big tomatoes. These are nasturtiums. You can eat these. It's an edible plant, and it really dresses up a salad. If you put these in the salad, it makes it pretty. They're all over the place. There's some more cosmos, some purple ones over here. Get you a better view of that. There we go. And more tomatoes down in there. And more tomatoes over there. I haven't weeded that area. I'll show you where I have weeded. I'll walk you back. More tomatoes. I have plenty of tomatoes. More nasturtiums. You always look for the ones that don't have bug bites on them or holes in them and use those. More tomatoes back here. More tomatoes down here. And over here I have another arbor with noodle beans that are drying up. Dying back. Got some peppers over here that I need to be picking. See, there's some more dry beans. Those are regular pole beans. And they're all up in there. And I'll be cleaning that out pretty soon. getting it ready for next spring. And right down here is some more cherry tomatoes, oodles and dabs. Plenty for us and plenty for the critters. Look in here at the squash. There's a crooked neck squash. I've been weeding this area. And finding squash I didn't know I even had. There's a one right there. That's a zucchini trombosini, I think it's called. Here's another better example of a trombosini. They're a good, I guess they're a winter squash because they do keep over the winter. And down in here, I am waiting on this patiently. It's looking kind of rough. I need to remove some leaves off of it. But it's trying to produce. We've gotten a lot off of them. Oh, I want to show you this one I found yesterday when I was weeding. Didn't even know I had it. Look at those pretty blooms down there. I'm serious. It's like huge. It's like that thing. That thing's huge. This one's small. It's the right size, normal size. They're white zucchinis. And this one up here is a normal size. But I was weeding down here. And where did it go? Oh, here it is. Right there. Back in the blueberry. It went over the fence and had one there. That's pretty good size. It's at least 12 inches long. There's a tomato down in there. You never know. They grow behind things, and it's amazing. You get in this time of year to weed things out and find all kinds of stuff. It's like, holy cow, I didn't know I had that. Over there is a butternut squash growing. I should have replanted this whole fence row, but I didn't. I just left it. But there's tomatoes over here. Just getting ripe and ready. And of course, a garden wouldn't be a garden without a few zinnias. And a few tall zinnias. And marigolds. Lots and lots of marigolds here. These zinnias have just like laid down. They got so tall. More marigolds. I think that's so pretty. Just looking in there, and the smell is divine. And marigolds aren't a real nice smelling flower. That's why it keeps the bugs away. Because they don't like the smell. These tomatoes will start ripening up. They're just everywhere. These have been laid over because they were growing towards the light to the south. So I moved them to the north. Just tilted them over, laid them down. These are calendula. And I just started growing those in this little ladybug pot. More tomatoes back in there. And lots more marigolds. It definitely keeps the bugs away from the plants. Just plant them thick. Over there you can see the zinnias. I don't know if you can see them from here. I'll walk around there. The banana trees are way overhead. Way overhead. We get tree frogs in them. Look at all them bananas. Well, banana trees. We don't get bananas yet. I doubt if we ever will because we're in zone 6B. But at least they grow and they look very tropical. There's another zinnia for you. Orange one. This is herbs in here. And that right there is Joe Pye weed for medicinal purposes. But here's those zinnias. They're just thick in here. Little ones, big ones. And I collect the seeds every year and then replant them in the spring. There's one lone flower over there, Cosmos. That's poke, and it's got its purple berries. They'll be drying out soon, and I'll collect those for the seed. Always collecting seeds. Here we go. Get you a better look at some of these. Some are so tiny and dainty. Some are huge. I like flowers. The sunflowers are getting to that point where their heads are down, and looks like some birds have been nibbling on some seeds there. But we'll have plenty of seed for next year. The butterfly bush is still blooming. It's got a nice scent to it. Where you been, Annie? You been looking for a groundhog? Are you groundhog hunting? Yeah. You go find you one. This is the first year hollyhock. It didn't get very big this year, but it should come back next year in all its glory, and it should bloom. And this is my heart-shaped planter that my daughter made for me one Mother's Day. And I decided I like it in the spring when it starts blooming because I put creeping phlox in it. And then it has the spires on the corners. And they come back every year and look really good. This is where the peas were. We should have replanted this area too, but we didn't do it. We were wore out and burnt out, so we just didn't bother. But we have plenty of area. That's 16 feet long and 4 feet high. These are tent poles plugged into the ground and strings all the way around so that we can grow climbing things inside there. Works out pretty good. More tomatoes over there. Is that a bean? No, it's a leaf. Okay, more tomatoes back there. Those are some paste tomatoes. And here's some little tomatoes up here. And the plants are starting to get nipped on top and starting to die back some. Some are just dying back because they've done their thing and they're finished. This is a good example of what kind of ground I have. There's shells from the hickory scattered about. It gets cracks in it. It's very hard clay. It's difficult. You can churn it up and water it, have it all fluffed up. It looks real nice. And then next time you come out, it's dry as a bone. And I'm talking like hours later, and it starts cracking. And you can just see the cracks. It's difficult because it's clay soil. And there's another good example over there how it cracks. Sometimes you get some pretty big gaping cracks. But anyway, that's what I deal with. This is catnip, and I have it scattered around different areas in the garden. It also helps keep the bugs away and keeps the cats happy. And it reseeds, and I plant the seeds in other areas and get it going. So I'll pull some seeds off here because I've been working on an area replanting. I'll show you. Let's walk over there past my bucket. And I'll put some seeds down here. There we go. Seeds are down there. They have a little wire thing around them. I'll scatter a little dirt over top of them. Are you coughing, baby? You got a cold? And I'll put some more in there before it's over with. You don't have to plant them very deep. They just come up. Some here. That's all catnip. It's not the prettiest plant in the world, but it has its purpose. These are some grapevines that have been here forever, and they produce some really good tasting grapes. So my son is making a bottle of wine for Thanksgiving. This pepper plant has one right here, right there, and it's got a bunch of little babies and some fresh blooms on it. It was planted late. Here's another pepper down here, there. And this sunflower is way up there. Too high for me to see. But there it is. It's hanging down now. The birds will be sitting on the edges and taking seeds. Another pepper plant on the other side of it. These are Sammy's. It's my grandson. And he planted them late, but at least he planted. And he harvested his Black Beauty tomatoes. Still a little one growing right there. So he'll have some more before it's over with. More tomatoes back there. He's learning. What can I say? City boy, 14 years old. Here's that butternut squash. One butternut squash. You can see the arbor from here with the squash under it. And it was over it and still is. But it was a lot nicer in the summer, in the early summer. Another sunflower. And a couple little ones down here at the base. I always have all kinds of sunflower seeds. I get the mammoth and all the different sizes. The teddy bears. All that stuff. And we just plant some here, some there. And I have a cobweb. There's the marigolds from the back side. This is a good example of poke. These are the berries. They hang in clusters. They have little ribs on them when they're green. This is like all stages right here. Okay, there's the little cluster of green ribbed ones. And then they start filling out. And then they turn purple. The purple is used for a dye. It's a really beautiful purple. Really hard to get out of your hands. The stems are purple. They don't start out that way, but they end up purple. And then when these dry, I don't see any dry ones. When they dry, they get rock hard. And you can pick them and save them to replant if you like poke salad. And if not, Native Americans used to put a dried one, in their mouth next to a tooth that was hurting them and use it as a toothache remedy. Oh well, here's some dry ones. They're almost dry. So yeah, that tree has everything going for it. It's got new growth, new berries coming on. And lots of leaves. And this grapevine is one my daughter planted. A couple of them. I don't know if there's 2 or 3 here. But they get a green grape, as you can see right in there. If I can get it to where you can see it. There we go. They get green grapes that turn to a red. See them there? They're not ready yet, but it's loaded. It has grapes everywhere. It's just loaded with grapes. But it's young, so it has small clusters, fairly small clusters. More down here. More in there. I imagine if I was cleaned out, we'd probably see some bigger clusters. I don't know. I see quite a few grapes. Birds get them. They like them. But it goes all the way around. It's a metal arch. Yep, I see more back in there. There's plenty of them. Make another bottle of wine, huh? Wonder if they're getting ripe. I don't feel like it. Then again, that's deceiving. And of course the south end has more berries on it, or more grapes on it than the north end from the looks of it. No, there's some down in here. This is the north end. They actually look pretty good. Yeah, I see some back in there too. I don't know if you can see them or not. But anyway, it's another source of food, right? Wood to grill out. This is the jewelweed. Some of it. It's everywhere. And they have the cutest little flowers. Little orange speckled flowers. Let's see if I can get this down to where you can see it. Well, the leaf is in the way. There we go. That's a side view of it. And front view. They're real intricate little things. The leaves are kind of silvery. These are seed pods growing on here. Those little strands, those are seed pods. And the seed pods, when you touch them, when they're ready, they pop. The seeds go flying everywhere. And I can see a lot of them have already popped. But there's plenty of seeds on a jewelweed. And you can replant it in a wet area or semi-wet area. My ground is, you saw it, cracking, but it tends to grow better in moist areas or along creek beds. And this is the instant relief from poison ivy, insect bites, any skin irritations. You can use jewelweed, and I make jewelweed soap, and you can use the jewelweed on your skin, and it calms it down. It doesn't itch anymore. It eliminates poison ivy, poison oak, poison sumac. Whether you just touched it and you need to wash off with it, or you touched it 3 days ago and you have little blisters, it'll eliminate it very rapidly. Within days, it's gone. It doesn't keep on, creeping around on you and growing. It just kills it. It neutralizes the reishi oil, the jewelweed does, and it's just fabulous stuff that was used by the Native Americans. So now we have it. Thank you. Yeah, you said it too, huh? This is how daylilies look after they've bloomed and they're spent. I'll come through and pull these out. They dry and pull out quite easily. Just pull them up and toss them aside. So that's a job for Mighty Man. Because it's not a job for me. What is it, Annie? Are you saying hi to the neighbors? Anyway, that's how they look this time of year. Annie, you're politely talking to the neighbors, huh? This is Kalanchoe in full bloom. And it was so big, the weight of the heads just brought it down. I need to cut this back and start some new starts because it's everywhere. But Kalanchoe is very nice. Nice to have. The bees like it. The bugs like it, so I keep it away from the food. Annekins. Morning glories just everywhere, creeping around. As you can see, they're just everywhere. They really are. They look like velvet. You know, they just look very velvety. Get it in the sun. Well, and then I shade it, right, with the phone. That's not cool. Here's some more poke. It's just everywhere. And these are some hardy hollyhocks that are falling over from over here and growing up. And it decided to expand its horizons. And now we have baby hollyhocks coming up everywhere in here, which is nice. And all the way over here. And over there. Wow. It really spread its seeds this year. A squash in here. And this is comfrey. Comfrey. Which is also good for the skin. I put strawberries under this pear tree. They're doing fine. I also have them in the green stalk. And back here, we have pretties. That's an apple tree. That's a Jonathan apple. Those are my peach trees over there that the squirrels decided to eat all the peaches. And then there's a pear tree on the other side of it in that box. And a pear tree here. Sherry's roses are over here, close to the chickens, which are back there. She's going to move her rose garden somewhere else. I have squash planted along the path here. And over here some loofahs that I was late to put them out, but I went ahead and put them out because I could. But they are getting loofahs, you can see that. They're just small, but there's a few of them on there. The beans are pretty shot. They did their thing. There's one we missed. Sage is getting dry. More catnip. My lavender did not do very well this year. Hopefully it'll come back. Some of this stuff is getting really dry. Tomatoes are ready to be picked. They're beautiful. They're everywhere. Everywhere I look, I see tomatoes. And I am so tired of making tomato sauce and tomato paste and tomato this, tomato that. Celery growing in a grow bag. Some flowers. Geraniums. More catnip. More comfrey. Comfrey will take over. You gotta watch it. In Zone 6B, comfrey's bad news. There's some squash over there. More tomatoes. More comfrey. Good grief. And hollyhocks. No. They're not hollyhocks. Are they? No. They're the other one. Maybe they are hollyhocks. I don't know. You tell me. But they've been blooming. They have the gigantic blooms and then the small blooms. My hosta's getting too much sun. It's burning up. This is a cranberry tree. And my favorite chicken is buried underneath it. And we're back to the cosmos in the front. These are my fig trees that I just planted this year. I have one on each side of this arbor. This is mint. And I'd tell you which kind of mint if I could see the sign. And I don't see it. Probably on the back side. Nope, I think it just went away. Faded out. And this is another mint. It's different. One's spearmint, one's peppermint, I do believe. That's a raised bed we're putting in. And there's two more out by the old greenhouse. Some grow bags. The carrot grow bag. This is the compost bin. As you can see, things are being composted. This is a stinky tree. Ginkgo. If it's a female, it'll have stinky fruit. I don't look forward to that. These are some strawberries and strawberry plants in here. This one's on wheels. It doesn't turn very easily out here because it's sitting on a little round tile. Lamb's ear. Parsley. More strawberries all the way around. That's my chard, Swiss chard. This is strawberries and tomatoes and strawberries. Like strawberries. And those strawberries didn't get watered for a few days and they're suffering, but they're coming back. I noticed them and it's like, oh, you guys forgot to water the strawberries while I was doctoring. What? Put more squash in here. And don't give up, guys. This is cabbage over here in these weeds. I need to weed this out. And there were worms that got in there and stripped them. There was not a leaf on them. And they're coming back in the center. So you never give up. You know, you just keep dogging along. Onions. These are the Egyptian walking onions. And they walked. And you can, hey, Annie, you're blowing my ears out, baby. You can see they get top heavy from the bulbs on them. They fall over, touch the ground, take root, and that's how they walk. And they'll walk a foot a year. Here's some trying to go into a planter over here. If I can get it out. Oh, Lord. Get that out of there. Put this on the ground. Annie, please. Annie. And they're just everywhere. More. There's one that's growing. Growing and it's not even touching the ground. Put you down there so you can grow. And as long as they're touching the ground, they'll grow. There. We'll have them there next year. Okay. More tomatoes. Lots and lots more tomatoes. I like to plant extra plants because you always have a groundhog or a squirrel or something that's really hungry. And they'll come through and they'll wipe you out if you're not careful. These aren't small, by the way. These are pretty good sized tomatoes. Most of my tomatoes are huge. Peppers over there. Peppers right here. You just plant extra and figure something's going to want it. If we get burnt out on it, they'll eat it. And they will. Birds and groundhogs and moles and squirrels and anything. They'll eat it. And they'll be happy that you put it out for them. And chances are they'll pick one area and leave the rest of them alone if you're lucky. And so far we've been lucky doing it that way. These are some beans I've been letting dry up. These are dragon tongue beans here that I'm just waiting for them to dry to keep the seeds. There's plenty of them. They're starting to rattle. So as soon as these dry up a little more, I'll come through and harvest them. I did the greasy beans. I did these yesterday, and you can see there's still beans. I mean, there's edible beans on there, but I'm letting them dry up to plant next year because I have enough beans in my pantry and dehydrated. I have plenty. So that's how that goes. You preserve it, have it, and you're set. Here's some tomatoes I didn't show you. And my celery is over here. And Annie's being a mouthy girl today. There's some tomatoes. They're on their way out. That vine's dying back from age. You know, it's just its time. There's some tomatoes that I planted late. I just stuck them in here. But this is where my celery grows. Celery's over there. Let me get a better view of it for you. That is celery. And this is celery. And that hanging over there is a patty pan squash. I don't know if you can see that. That's a patty pan squash. And it's coming over from the other side. From the other side of the fence. These are something. What are these? They're going to seed. I don't see my placard, so I don't know if they're parsnips or radishes or what. I think they're parsnips. Pretty sure it's parsnips. And I planted these so I could get more seed, because we don't eat parsnips. I don't know why, we just don't. Some basil over there. More tomatoes. Yeah, if I'd clean off this fence, it sure would look a lot better. Get all the dried leaves off of it. There's plenty of them. But that's just work that's not really necessary. I mean, it's good to keep it clean, but in the long run, you're going to take them out anyway. So might as well just leave them there. It's not any kind of problem. You know, they're old. Is that parsnips? That's probably a weed. No, I think that's parsnips. I have plenty of weeds. Yeah, I'm pretty sure those are parsnips. Because there's more of them over here and over there. And I did put some out. Underneath here are 3 lemonade blueberries. The pink lemonade, I think that's what they are. Yes, pink lemonade. All 3 of them. And then I have more blueberries all over here. All over. I keep them netted to keep the birds from taking them, so that we can actually have some. But actually this year I didn't. I let them just go. I've got too many frozen bags of blueberries. Oh, and I think my son's going to make blueberry wine out of some of those frozen blueberries. That would be good. That I can handle. I like blueberries. These are the other 2 grow beds we're putting in. They're long. Really long. So that's it. I've walked you around pretty much most of the garden. There's a lot of it. And I'm seriously thinking about going solar, but not all the way. Just back up, and if I want to. One of those deals, you know? Might as well. I could show you the moonflowers. They've been blooming and smelling divine. They're right up here. If I can get my camera so you can see them. I don't even know if you can see that. The sun's in my eyes. It's not helpful at all. There's one. There's another one up there. There's one that fell off down here. Oh, no, it didn't fall off. It's just growing down here. But anyway, they open up real nice. Big flowers, and they smell so good. In the evening, they smell. In the afternoon, they don't. This weed right here is edible, by the way. If you have this weed, if I can get a picture of it, with the little purple berries on top. Let me pull this off and take it to the sun where you can see it. And where hopefully I can see it. Well, it's not working. Let me get somewhere where I can see. Maybe get out of the sun, huh? All right. Well, I should have got a bigger one. It's not in focus. I'm sure I can find, oh yeah, here's some right here. These. They're edible. You can use them in salad. And I forget their name. Lady purses or something like that. But yeah, you can eat them. Don't know what to do with my hands. Chamomile, shocked. It got dried up too. But the zinnias are doing just fine. And more sunflowers. Little ones. So much stuff out here, it's hard to keep track. And I go brain dead sometimes. Cannot think of names. But you find out if you don't label stuff, you may forget what you got. But that's okay. You figure it out later on. So, share my videos. As they all say. Those are irises. And hit that like button. If you didn't like it, hit the thumbs down button. And tell me in the comments what you didn't like about it. It's just an old lady out in her garden. What can I say? No newfangled anything. I don't have all the fancy equipment. I'd love to, but I don't. So I just make do with what I've got. And try to bring you the latest from Zone B in Ohio. Actually, it's Zone 6B. Kind of left out part of that, didn't I? But it gets pretty in the summer. It gets breathtakingly pretty. And the smells are really fantastic. I don't get hay fever. So I grow things that cause hay fever. And I'll grow anything. If it'll grow, I'm all in. Herbs, edible plants, food, veggies, running dogs. Annie's feeling her oats. She's 16 years old and had her toe amputated a while back. That cost me a bundle. But, yep, had the house covered in steel. So, and yes, we have a push mower. Anyway, that's it for now. So, have a good day and enjoy.